Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Casey, and today's reading is all about what is life trying to teach you right now? What is the universe trying to teach you? What lesson are you meant to be learning right now? Because sometimes, maybe we're seeing a lot of synchronicities and our logic is telling us one thing, but our emotions are telling us another thing, but maybe our intuition is trying to tell us something, and we can't quite hear it, especially if you're pulled in a lot of different directions, and maybe a part of you doesn't want to learn this lesson. Maybe a part of you doesn't want to realize certain things. But, what is life trying to bring you to? What new perspective? What lesson learned? What lesson are you meant to learn right now? That is what this reading is all about today. So today I have 3 different readings for you to choose from. With pile 1, we have the clear quartz, and this card says the hound and the pear. And for pile 2, we have the green aragonite, and this card says the deer and oat. And for pile 3, we have, I believe this is called Botswana agate, and this card is the bobcat and the blackthorn. So go ahead and pause, figure out which reading you feel most drawn to. I'll leave timestamps down in the description box below so you can quickly jump to whichever reading that you want to listen to. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, pile 1. If you chose the clear quartz, then this is the reading for you. Sorry, had to readjust my chair there. As you can see, we have a lot of cards to get through today, but I'm in no rush, so I hope you're not in a rush either. If you don't have a ton of time to listen to a reading today, then I suggest you put this off till later when, maybe you're not really doing anything, maybe when you're cooking or, whatever, whenever you have time to actually listen to this, because this seems, just looking at your cards, it looks like this is gonna be a really important lesson for you to learn, and something that's there's going to be a big part of you that's fighting against this lesson and giving yourself over to it. And so I think, I feel like the need to tell you that you might really want to be sitting down and giving a lot of your attention to this reading when you can. So now that that's out of the way that I have these cards set up is the 2 in the middle that symbolize different animals. These are, what energy the universe wants you to embody right now. Because, when we learn a new lesson, we're kind of shifting from the old version of us to the new version of us. Shifting, the kind of energy that we're embodying, the kind of mindset that we're in, the kind of perspective or the way that we carry ourselves. And so the version of yourself that I think the universe is telling you that it's time to embody, you have the Lamb card and you have the Elk card. Now, when I look at the lamb, I feel like anybody that looks at a lamb, they're going to think, oh, that animal is helpless, it's weak, it needs to be protected. I mean, sheep alone are, even full-grown sheep are known to be kind of helpless. They're constantly talking about, being guided. Kind of, it can be derogatory to call a person a sheep. But I think in this sense, I think you are somebody who has needed to be strong for so long, where you are the one guiding people, you are the one in charge, you are the one constantly on top of things, constantly, maybe you keep a very strict schedule, you're very disciplined, you're very hardworking. These are all really great attributes. I think they're great, but nobody can be one thing forever. And I think you're entering into a chapter of your life where you're needing to learn, how can I give up control? How can I sit back and let me be babied for once? Let me be the baby lamb that is guided, that is protected. How can I give over to more of a divine feminine energy? Because I feel like you've really been in your masculine energy. And if you don't know what divine feminine and masculine is, I always feel the need to explain it because it has nothing to do with gender or sex. It's just these two different ideas that, humans, when they see 2 different things, they're going to ascribe it certain things, like black or white, or, like yin and yang is black and white, or feminine and masculine, for instance, with this one. But it quite literally is like yin and yang. It's just 2 different energies. There's active and passive. There's logic versus intuition, for example. It has nothing to do with gender. So when I say that you've been in your masculine energy, I don't mean like you've been dressing more masculine. I mean you've been taking more of an active role in pursuing, taking action, making things happen. You've been in more of a logical mindset, whereas it's time for you to switch into a softer, more passive, waiting for things to come to you, allowing your intuition to guide you. When you feel that sudden need to, I need to go, I need to get up, I need to get things done, instead ask yourself, what does my body need right now? Can somebody else take this over instead of me? And I feel like I'm just going to say it, you're a workaholic. Or if you're not working, maybe it's like hobbies, maybe you're retired, but you just don't know how to sit still. You're a movement-aholic. You're a busy-aholic. I feel like what the universe is trying to teach you is you need to take care of yourself. You need to kind of take a back seat in things. Instead of having full control over things and feeling like your life needs to be this strict schedule, you need to learn how to live again. You need to learn how to just live in the moment and be a human being. You're not a human doing, you're a human being. I hear that saying all the time, and I completely agree with it. And so when I see the lamb and the elk card, the elk and the ash, it specifically talks about strength. When we think about not working as hard, not doing as much, we think that that's weak. But actually, when you are somebody who is a workaholic, it takes so much inner strength to hold yourself back from what the logical mind is telling you to do, what everybody around you is telling you to do. Everybody's telling you to hustle. Everybody's telling you to work harder, make more money, do this, do that. It takes a lot of strength to stand up and say, you know what? I'm living for me right now. I am not living for meeting these deadlines. I'm not living for this image of what people think I should be. I'm living for myself. And I get this specific message for some of you. If you're a parent, I feel like a lot of parents, they want to instill these ideas of being hardworking and being very disciplined to their kids because those are very important things. But without balance, without moderation, when are your kids going to get love from you? When are they going to get time with you? When are they going to get to go on a vacation and make memories with you? When are you guys going to go camping? When are you guys just going to hang out and watch a movie together? It's important to show them the importance of being disciplined, being hardworking, and accomplishing goals that you've set your mind to. And when you say you're going to do something, getting it done. I'm not saying to suddenly be lazy and not care about any of those things. What I'm telling you, and what the universe is trying to tell you, is balance and moderation are really important. And knowing when to decide to, tell somebody else, okay, you take the wheel, I'm going to sit in the back for a second. It doesn't mean that you don't care about getting to the destination. It means, it's okay for me to take my hands off this for a second and just let's hang out with whoever's in the back seat, instead of constantly feeling like we need to be driving forward. And that takes so much strength. You think it takes a lot of strength to be hardworking, but for you specifically, you know how to be hardworking. You know how to be disciplined. You already know all this. You're not giving up on that. Instead, you are showing that the softer side, the divine feminine side, the yin side, that is also equally as important, if not more so, especially if you have children. And so the other things that we have here, these are all specifically about the lessons that the universe is trying to teach you. So I'm going to go ahead and break these down. Now, starting off here, these little yellow circle cards are the tea leaf fortune cards. And here we have the bat card, the handshake card, the cobweb card, and the mountain road card. Starting off with the bat card, this says, take care, enemies are working against you. I don't think these are actual outside enemies working against you. I think that this all has to do with your head. What's going on inside your head, the fears that you tell yourself, the ego in you that is like, we need to keep working, we need to keep up appearances, we need to move, we gotta XYZ. When I think of a bat, and this came to mind when I was looking at this card, I think of, how in movies and stuff, when somebody, disturbs a cave a little bit, all of a sudden all the bats come rushing out and screeching, and it's this moment of chaos and stress, and everybody's screaming because the bats are scary, but the bats are equally as scared. That is their fear response. They're not attacking because they're just malicious creatures. They're attacking out of fear. And all it takes is one to start freaking out. There's one loud noise, one starts freaking out, and then all of a sudden, all of them are just in this swarm of fear and stress and loud noise, and bats can't see anything, so they're just bouncing around. They're like, ah! That's you. You will let one little fear get into your brain, and it will wiggle its way in. It'll worm its way in until suddenly all cylinders in your head are firing, and it's like, oh my god, we need to put out these fires. I don't know if you've ever watched SpongeBob, but I'm specifically remembering this one part in this one episode where it's like inside SpongeBob's brain, there's a bunch of tiny SpongeBobs, and they're working in an office, and everything is on fire, and they're like trying to put out fires, but they don't know how to do it, and they're like running upside down, and they're trying to like smash computers to put the fire out, and it's like, you can't work properly if you are under a stress and chaos response. And when I look at this bat card, something that works against you is when you have these fears or these stresses, they compound so easily and stack on top of each other so easily. I wouldn't be surprised if you were having, panic attacks regularly, because all it takes is one little straw and the camel's back is broken already. And instead of taking time to heal your camel back, you are just, as soon as it's broken, you're like, okay, how long till we can start walking again? Let's put another straw. And it's like, no, you need to learn to take breaks. This is actually a lesson that I've been having to learn myself, trying not to be as much of a workaholic. It was extremely difficult, but I won't get into it because it's kind of a long story. But one kind of lesson or analogy I came up with in my head is creativity and inspiration and stuff like that. It's great. And it's kind of like a well, and over time it fills up and you can scoop buckets out of it. But if you try to do it too often, you're not giving yourself enough time to fill that well back up. I felt like I was getting to a point where I was waiting until the well was full enough for just one bucket, and then I would scrape it clean. And it's like there would be nothing left over. There's no cushion. And so I feel like, for me and for you, we need to learn to give ourselves more time to fill back up before we start taking. And you're in this period of life where you need to learn to rest. You need to learn balance. You need to learn, I don't know if you're self-employed, but in a normal job, you're given a set number of vacation days, and it's like, okay, I haven't used these up, let me go use them. But if you're self-employed, it's up to you when you decide to take a vacation. And more often than not, a lot of self-employed people just don't take vacations because they need to have their hands on things. They can't trust other people with their business because the business is their baby. I feel like you would really resonate with that. You're like, I need to be on top of things. But no, you don't. Truly, I want you to ask yourself, if you took 1 week off to not answer emails, to not worry about anything, it would probably still survive. Okay, maybe if you're the boss and you know exactly how things are done, maybe your employees wouldn't be as efficient as you could be. Maybe there would be certain, little mistakes made here and there, but the thing isn't gonna burn down. It's not gonna burn down. You are going to collapse if you don't take a break. So you need to ask yourself, what's more important? Salvaging a few little mistakes or making sure everything's on top versus you hitting a wall and being forced to take a break? I want to ask you that. The next thing that I see is the handshake card. This talks about a meeting with a stranger being important. I actually don't think, when I look at this card, I'm not necessarily thinking of a handshake as in a business meeting or meeting a new person who's going to help you. I'm actually looking at this card, and it looks to me like when somebody's fallen up and you grasp hands with somebody and they help you up, you are in the position where you need to reach out to somebody and help you. And it doesn't need to look like you reach out to someone and you're like, oh my God, I need you to take the kids. I need you to watch the animals. I need to get out of here and run. It's not like dumping everything on some random person and running away. Sometimes it just looks like, hey, I need to take a break. Can you maybe, look over these few things that I was supposed to do? I can't take care of it. Or maybe telling your boss, hey, I need to take some time off. I have my ducks in a row. Can you just, give me this time? I just need some time to myself. To me, this handshake card looks like, who do you need to reach out to ask for help? And I feel like you might think in your head, I'm inconveniencing people. I'm supposed to be the one taking care of others. I'm supposed to be the one in charge. You're a human being too. It doesn't matter if you are the man of the house or if you're, a single mother and you need to take care of everything. Yeah, of course there's nuances here, and sometimes there are things that we can't leave alone. You can't leave a toddler alone. But there are certain times where you need to be willing to be like, you know what? Let me ask somebody else for help. Let me ask grandma to come watch the kids instead and just take a week off. And people will have their opinions about everything. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is ensuring that you are still living and breathing and able to live and breathe. Because I feel like on the course that you're going right now, it's not going to last much longer. And what would you rather have? Your kids watch you. This is just an example if you don't have kids. Your kids watch you end up having a mental breakdown, and then suddenly you didn't plan to take a vacation, but you're taking a vacation anyways? Or would you rather your kids see, oh, mom or dad, they're taking care of themselves. They're putting time in to make sure that they are taken care of too. That's an amazing thing to teach your kids. The importance of taking care of themselves, not just putting everything before. And, I feel like it's going to make you a healthier, happier person overall. And like I said, if you have kids, their life will improve because kids absorb everything. They know what's going on. They know if you're not doing good. They see if you're a little bit more stressed out or tired or irritable, and they kind of take that on themselves. Or if it's your spouse, they're going to be like, what am I doing wrong? Am I not helping enough? Are there things that they're keeping from me, things that they're hiding? And it's all because you're not taking care of yourself. I mean, you might think that you're keeping it all together, but people can sense when something's wrong. And they're going to be like, man, I wish that everything will be okay with them. I hope that they can take care of themselves. You need to show them that you can take care of yourself. And sometimes that looks like, putting the hammer down and just taking some time to yourself. And you might think like, oh, I'm just turning into this little lamb, like everybody needs to take care of me. It takes so much more strength for you to do this than to just keep going as you are. Because you can keep going. You can keep going until you hit burnout. But it takes so much more strength to say, you know what, I need to put the hammer down. And when I look at the cobweb card, this one talks about being protected from negative forces beyond your control, and also the mountain road that says you are on the road to success. Both of these talk about you are being protected by the universe. You are being taken care of. You will reach success. So if this is like a career thing, like I said, and you're a workaholic and you feel like you can't take your hands off things, trust me, if you take your hands off, even if it's not a physical human being that puts their hands on the wheel, the universe will put its metaphorical hands on the wheel. The bus is not going to go running off the road. It's not all going to crash and burn if you take a week off. You have 2 cards here saying that you are protected from negative forces and you will reach success. One little vacation or taking some time off here and there, changing your schedule around to be a little bit more lax, so maybe you have 1 extra day off a week, that is not going to make your life crash and burn. In fact, it is going to improve you so much more. I have something that's coming to mind in America. I don't know if you live in America, but something that we've been talking about a lot, especially in more liberal circles, is the 4-day work week. And some European countries do this as well, where, in America we have usually 5 days a week that we work or go to school, and then there are Saturday and Sunday that are our days off, the weekend, right? But as we move forward in the future, there's a lot of studies that say that a 4-day work week, even though it's 1 less day that you're working, those other 4 days are actually so much more substantially improved in productivity because people are a lot more energized, they got to get extra sleep in, they got to have some more fun, they got to see their families. And so even though there's 1 less day a week that they're working, they're actually so much more balanced, productive, their work-life balance is amazing. And so I take this idea to show you that you might be terrified of what it means to change around your schedule or to work 1 less day or take a week off. But I want to tell you that by doing that, you're actually giving so much more to the other areas of your life. You're actually giving so much more to the well of, how much discipline you can have, how hard you can work, because you took the time to let that well fill back up instead of constantly draining it, constantly scooping it out. And so I want to leave you with that mindset and also show you the universe is going to protect you. You are on the right path. You will reach success. Everything will be okay. You even have the abundance card here that I haven't gotten to yet. You will be taken care of. Everything will be okay. Let me ingrain that into you. Taking some time off or being a little bit easier on yourself is not going to make everything fall apart. You will be taken care of. Just tell yourself that over and over again. Fear is your enemy and you will be taken care of. You will be successful. I feel like I need to ingrain this into you. But you're not going to get there any faster if, for instance, you decided to work 7 days a week. In fact, that would probably slow you down because you're getting less sleep, less time to have fun, and you're going to start enjoying life a lot less. That's not going to make you more productive and efficient. In fact, it's going to make you even less so. You might think, okay, now that I'm not taking any breaks, I'm going to work twice as hard. No, you're not. In fact, you're gonna be even more tired, and then you're gonna hit burnout, and then, like I said, you're gonna be forced to take a vacation. So I'll leave you with that to think about. Now, getting into the tarot and these oracle cards, we have the 7 of Cups and the Mystery card. When I look at the 7 of Cups, it makes me think of, right now you have a very limited perspective. You have this perspective of, if I take a day off, I'm working less. What I want to tell you, which I've already told you, but when I look at the 7 of Cups and the Mystery card, it makes me think there are actually so many more possibilities, so many more realizations and other perspectives and extra energy, like physical energy, that will come out of you deciding to take this break. Or maybe it looks like taking some time off, taking a trip, or just fully putting a pause on working for a little while. There will be so many realizations that come out of it that you've never even thought of before. Right now, you have a very limited perspective where you're like, okay, maybe I'll take a week off, maybe I'll be a little bit more productive. But truly, if you give yourself over to listening to your body, and it doesn't need to be a week. I keep saying a week because, human terms. But if you listen to your body and you start giving it more of what it needs, if your body is telling you, I know it's 12 p.m., but I could really use a nap, and you give into that. Or there's a part of you that's like, oh man, I'm so excited to read this book or watch this TV show. I've been thinking about it like for the past couple months, like, can we just do it? And you're like, okay, let's just give into that. Let's listen to what our body wants, and we do that. After you do that and you start building up this better relationship with your body, you will have so many realizations and your perspective will be so much more expanded. I'm actually getting this picture in my mind of somebody that was wearing goggles that were all foggy, and then they finally took them off and they're like, oh my God, I can see life so much more clearly. Like, truly, I'm telling you that you'll have more physical energy to, work hard and get things done if you take more time off. But I think it's more than that. I think you'll be able to think more clearly than you ever have before. You'll have more love to give to others. You'll feel like there's more time in the day because of how much more energy you'll have. Like, energy is great, but it's like, even if you were awake the same amount of hours, it feels different when you have more energy, and you will have so much more energy. It truly feels like you'll be able to see clearly for the first time in a long time because you won't feel as clouded. Like, you might be somebody that deals with a lot of brain fog, and I'm seeing like literal fog in my mind as I tell you this. I think if you can start listening to your body instead of, our bodies are bodies, okay? They're not computers. They're not meant to run on specific schedules. They're not meant to always follow the same regimen. If that was the case, then everybody could just eat oatmeal for 3 square meals a day and, I don't know, wake up at 6 a.m. and then go to bed at like 10 p.m. Like, we would just do that, but we can't because we're bodies, we're animals, we're humans. We can't do that. And so if you can start listening to your body, building a relationship with it, and instead of fighting it, being sleep deprived and saying, instead of going to sleep and listening to my body, I'm going to keep fighting it and I'm going to force it to stay up. If you start working in tandem with your body, you will go so much farther. Like, quite literally, when I said the word tandem, it made me think of a tandem bicycle where it's like 2 people on one bicycle with like 2 seats. It's like you and your body are pedaling in different directions. Your body is pedaling backwards and you're pedaling forwards, and it's like, how are we going to get anywhere doing this? Now, if you start listening to your body, and instead of being the one that's in charge, letting your body decide where to go, letting your body set the pace of when to pedal and when to rest, you'll actually go twice as fast because you're not fighting yourself every step of the way. And it will expand your horizon of how much you can accomplish. You'll start feeling so much more inspired, so much more creative. You'll feel like you have so much more energy to give, so much more love to give. And there will be so many more opportunities that you can take because you're able to go twice as far and twice as fast because you listen to your body. I think a lot of the times we put our body last. First we listen to like logic and emotions, and then maybe we'll listen to our body and our intuition. But if you put your body and intuition first, I guarantee you will go twice as far. My leg is kind of falling asleep. So as an example, I'm going to take my own advice. I'm going to pause this and I'm going to stand up and I'm going to let my leg stop being asleep. All right, I'm still standing up, but I'm not quite getting back into the reading, but standing up and like shaking my leg out and trying to get it to come back to sleep is kind of the perfect example for what I'm trying to tell you, because if I had tried to just stay in my seat, keep doing the reading, keep talking to you without taking a break, my leg being in pain would become so much of a distraction that I'd only be giving you half of myself, because the other half is like, oh my God, my leg is asleep. This is so painful. This is so awkward. Taking that break, even though I had to pause for a little bit, maybe I got a little bit out of the flow, it's actually able to, it allowed me to give you 100% of myself. Does that make sense? I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse here by saying the same thing over and over again, but I feel like the universe really is trying to ingrain this into you, the importance of balance, the importance of listening to your body. And like I said, especially if you have children, the most important years of their life are the years where they are living with their parents, learning from their parents, absorbing everything about what adulthood looks like and how they can emulate you. And if you start off their life by showing them somebody who works themselves to the bone, somebody that doesn't enjoy life, somebody that barely has any energy to give, either they're going to follow in your footsteps by doing that and not loving life, or they're going to go in a complete opposite direction where they hate hard work because they're like, look at what hard work turns a person into. Instead, you have the opportunity to show them what living a balanced life looks like. And so finally, we have the Queen of Wands reversed in the Abundance card. I feel like you are scared, and I said this before, but I see it so clearly in all the cards. It's the same message over and over again, just in slightly different ways. You are so afraid that if you take your hands off the wheel, the money stops, the success stops, the opportunity stops, or people will start viewing you as not a hard worker. People will start viewing you as not an inspiration. I want to tell you it's the opposite. Not only are you just completely in your head and these fears are not super valid, but if you take your hands off the wheel, abundance will still come. Success will still come. You will still be taken care of. Like I said before, with the Cobweb card and the Mountain Road card, you will be protected. You are going to reach success. And when I look at the Queen of Wands card, the Queen of Wands reversed, I think specifically another part of this that you need to really heal and examine is how much of your self-worth and how much of your ego depends on the identity of being a hard worker or the identity of being disciplined. Like, I truly want to ask you, ask yourself, who are you as a person? What are the words that come to mind? You probably classify yourself and put a lot of pride into, I'm a very disciplined, hardworking person. I'm a go-getter. Yeah, these are great attributes of a person, but they are not the only part of a person. And you can have that while also living a balanced life. And I think what's going to be really important is the ego side of things and how you view yourself, because your ego is going to be fighting against taking a break. It's going to be fighting against taking time off work because being a workaholic is such a big part of your identity. And so I really want you to take some time, examine that, heal the wounds that need to be healed. I mean, who taught you? Or maybe it was society, maybe it was your parents, but who taught you that you have to live this way in order to be a valid person? Because it's not true. You're a valid person whether or not you're the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. You're a valid person whether or not you work 40 to 80 hours a week. You're a valid person even if you decide to live the life of somebody that travels the world for the sake of traveling the world. You're a valid person for following your heart, following what your soul wants to do, even if it's different from what society tells you to do. And so I think you need to realize just how much stock you put into this idea, this identity built upon pride and ego, and ask yourself, can I build my identity on something else? Can I build my identity on being a great mother, being a great father, being a great friend, being a great spouse? Can I build my identity on something else, like being the kind of person that puts purpose and passion and love in their path above what others want for me, above, how other people's opinions matter, or, you know what I'm saying. I think your identity and what it's built around is going to be shifting dramatically as you change your life. Because I think one of the reasons that workaholics have such a hard time letting go of control and letting go of working as much as they do is they put so much of their identity in how hard can I work? How long of hours can I work? How much can I get done? And without that, suddenly they're like, who am I? And I think who you are needs to run deeper than that. Because if this is taken away, if suddenly you can no longer work, you need to ask yourself, who am I? And you need to be proud of that person, even if that person isn't somebody that works 40 plus hours a week. And it's okay to not work that much. There are other things, a part of our identity, that matter way more than that. And I promise you, you will find them. And you will, 5 years from now, you'll be like, oh, thank God I made this shift. Thank God that I was able to turn into a healthier, happier, more balanced person, because that other version of me that was ran by ego and pride and fear and stress, they were unhealthy. And they were heading in the wrong direction. And as a final note, I want to show you, with the abundance card, you will be taken care of. I really want to drill this home. You will be taken care of. The universe is leading you in the right direction. Everything will happen when it's meant to happen. You will be successful. All right, you are taken care of. Truly remind yourself of that and try not to push yourself as hard. And there will be times where we feel like we can push ourselves hard and it's no big deal, and that's okay too. I'm not saying hard work is bad. I'm saying that listening to your body is important. Sometimes your body only can work 1 day a week. Other times your body is like, okay, yeah, I can work 7 days a week easy. But it's important to listen to it, go fast when it's able to go fast, and go slow when it needs to go slow. But listen to it, live balanced, and be the person that you would want your kids to look up to. So, pile 1, that is everything that I have for you. I truly, truly wish you the best on your path. I hope you enjoyed this reading. That's all that I have. If you're interested in what I do, I have a ton more videos on my channel, but that's everything that I have. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. All right, pile 2. If you chose the green aragonite, then this is the reading for you. And I think that if you were drawn to this reading, and keep in mind, this is a very specific topic, so if this doesn't sound like you, then you probably chose the wrong pile, or it could be that this video just isn't for you. But for those of you that were drawn to this reading, you are going through a hard time in your life, and you are about to make a very difficult decision, because this decision is going to completely change the course of your life. But I can tell for the majority of you that this is a decision that needs to be made. And what I'm seeing here is, I think the majority of you, actually all of you, this is a very specific reading that were drawn to this reading, you will be going through a divorce or a breakup of some kind. And I think for the longest time, you have attached yourself to this other person. And I think you had to give up a lot of yourself for this relationship and for the life that you were going to build with this person. I think you had to give up a lot of your passions. I think you had to give up your idea of what the perfect life might look like, because maybe this person wanted other things, or maybe they just weren't as spontaneous as you, or maybe they just didn't want to experiment as much as you, and so you always felt held back. And I think now you're coming to this point where the both of you are kind of, you don't really have a reason to hold on anymore. And I think that you have a really hard time admitting that it's time to move on. You have a really hard time saying to yourself, you know what, this is where the end of the road is. Because I think that you are still clinging to where life was supposed to go. Supposed to, in air quotes. I think you thought life is supposed to look like I reach this age and I get married and I have kids and that is life, and we keep going until retirement and then we die. And life doesn't look like that for you. Life looks different because maybe this person cheated, or maybe this is just a different person than who they pretended to be when you first got to know each other, and you realize 10 years in, man, I hate this person. Or man, this is not where I thought my life was going to go. Or maybe it looks like, you love each other, but you're just not compatible. You're just not enjoying each other's company. And maybe you'd be great as friends, but this isn't exactly what your ideal version of lovers who are meant to be together, who are together forever. This isn't the kind of life that you wanted to live. And so whatever the reason is that it feels like this chapter is coming to an end, I think it's time that you admit to yourself that it is time to end. You are not gaining anything by staying here. And I think that this is the lesson that the universe is trying to teach you right now. The lesson that life is pushing you to is, when I look at these two sun cards, because you have the sun card and the sunrise card. And when I think of a sunrise, I think it's the end of the old chapter, the end of the old day, and the start of the new one. The sun doesn't stop rising because we want time to stop. The sun doesn't stop rising because there's clouds or because it looks gloomy. The sun rises anyways. And you can choose to stay here forever, but time will still keep going on. This reality will still be the same, that this is not the life that you want to live. This is not the relationship that you want to stay in. And so you can choose to stay here. You can choose to pretend like everything is fine. Choose to pretend like you're okay being where you are. But I think deep within yourself, you're not. And it's scary because what's on the other side of this new sunrise is you don't know. You don't know what's going to come. You don't know if you will find that perfect relationship you're looking for. So you might ask yourself, well, maybe it's best that I stay here because I don't know if I'm ever going to find the perfect fairy tale romance. Maybe my current relationship isn't a fairy tale romance, but it's better to stay here with what I know than the unexpected of never having anything again. And I want to tell you that that's just in your head. You have no idea what the universe has in store for you, but you're also never going to see it if you don't learn to let go when it's time to let go. And I think, first of all, let me get into these first two cards. These first two cards, the Spider card and the Coyote card, are what energy the universe wants you to embody in this new chapter of life. When I look at the Spider card, it always makes me think of somebody who cares so much about those around them, cares so much about the home that they create, and they can create a wonderful, beautiful environment. They can create the most homey home in any spot. They could turn a cave into the most homey of homes. But when I look at the Coyote card and the Datura card, or it says Coyote and Datura on it, it says deceit. And when I look at the Coyote and Datura, Datura is actually a poison. Some people think it's a hallucinogen, so they'll take it, because they think it's going to be like shrooms or something. It's not. It is a poison. There's a poison growing in your home. There is a toxicity of two people that are chained together when they would both be better off free. And, I don't think that your partner, whoever you're with, I don't think that they're a terrible person. But I think that when two people are chained together because of circumstance, and that chain is just causing a poison, there is a poison growing in your home. And maybe they're not a horrible person, but it is a horrible environment. When I look at the Coyote, specifically in this specific card, how the Coyote takes up almost all of the room, and then the only other room that's available is the Datura, it just gives me this idea of a caged animal. And I'm not saying, this is tricky, it's also general reading, so it's not all going to apply. I'm not saying that you're a terrible person, I'm not saying that they're a terrible person. But the two of you together is creating a toxic environment. And it's caging two animals that need to be freed. And so it doesn't mean that you can't love each other. It doesn't mean you can't respect each other. But both of you need to lead your own lives. And I think that you specifically have been so attached to, this is what the future is supposed to look like, and we can't veer off that path. But I hate to tell you, the train has already derailed, and you're still sitting in the seat. You're refusing to acknowledge that the train has derailed, and the universe is trying to show you it's time to get out. It's time to accept the reality that it doesn't mean that you failed. This relationship just wasn't meant to keep going. It's not your fault. There's nothing that you could have done to make it better. Because, maybe you could have styled your hair different or put on more makeup or acted completely differently, but you know what that would have been doing? Living inauthentically. You would not have been yourself. You would have been putting yourself into a box in order to hope and pray that this relationship could be like the fantasy relationships. And it's not. I hate to break it to you, but this wasn't your fault. There's nothing that you could have done to make this the perfect relationship. It's just not. And I don't know what reasons the universe had for putting you in this relationship. I don't know what you were meant to gain out of it. But I know that the lesson that the universe is trying to teach you right now is it's time to put yourself first. It's time to free yourself and start this new chapter, even though you don't know what it's going to lead to. You have no idea, and it is terrifying because you have no idea. You're completely starting over. Maybe it means that you have to start working again. Maybe it means you got to move in with family for a little while you handle this divorce because, oh my God, all of a sudden we have to sell the house and whose name is it in? And what about these belongings? Who gets this? Who gets that? Especially if there's kids involved. Don't even get me started. But staying is only prolonging the poison. The poison is just going to keep growing in your house. It's going to grow and grow and grow until it suffocates you. And so even though it's scary, even though it's the unknown, the best thing that you can do for yourself and for this other person, even if maybe you guys hate each other right now, the best thing that you can do is let go. And you know what? Maybe they'll make it hard on you. Maybe they won't let you go because they have their own fears and their own unrealized traumas and their own unrealized issues. And it's going to be a pain in the ass. I'm not telling you this is going to be easy, but I'm telling you it needs to get done. just like the sun needs to rise every day. It's time to let go. And so now what I see here, these are a little bit more details that we have here about, what is the universe trying to teach you right now? What is life trying to teach you? You have the broken ring card. This is pretty self-explanatory. It's quite literally a broken ring, and it says parting of the ways in either romance or business. So, self-explanatory. It's like the ring is already broken, and instead of trying to put it back together, at some point you just need to realize it's time to take it off. And I know that sounds abrupt, and you might be listening to this and you're like, well, what do you know? You're just some tarot reader online, and maybe that's true. Maybe you're one of the people that clicked on this and it actually isn't meant for you. If that's the case, I'm not telling you what decision to make. But for those of you that came to this and this resonates, this feels like intuitively like, yes, this is the thing that I've been afraid to face. The ring is broken. You can continue to wear it and have it dig into your skin and be painful. Have the pieces are falling off, and so you try to pick them up and put them back on. Or you can look at that ring and you can say, okay, it's broken. Damn. Well, we tried. Let's take it off. Life continues on anyway. Now, it sounds simple and easy. This is not simple and easy. This sucks. But life keeps going, and that's the harsh reality. That's the kicker, is life doesn't pause because we want it to pause. The world keeps turning. People keep going to the grocery store, and you want to look around and be like, why isn't everybody screaming? Why isn't life stopping? Because my life has stopped. Why is everything still going on like everything is normal? It's going to drive you crazy. And, at first, friends might be super understanding, like, hey, can I get you anything? Over time, though, they're going to have to deal with their own life. Life moves on, and the only one that will still be caring as strongly and holding on as strongly will be you. Eventually, you're going to have to be the one that stands up, dusts yourself off, and says, okay, I'm going to move on too. It's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. There will be a lot of times where you're crying and you're mourning the old version of yourself and the future that you thought you would have had. And that's okay. You deserve to mourn it. This is something that deserves to be mourned. It is an entire version of yourself and your life that you were expecting to have, and now you don't have it anymore. And I wish I could say it was different. But I'm not here to sugarcoat things. I'm here to tell you the facts, because this is what the universe is trying to show you. And I don't enjoy giving these kinds of messages. I truly don't. I love the ones that I'm giddy, I'm excited, but these are equally, if not more so, important. Because it's the harsh truth and reality that we need to face. And all of us in our own lives, whether it's a divorce or a death or a loss of any kind, it's one of those things where the world is still turning. We can't go backwards. But what we can do is take charge of our own life. Except we can take responsibility of what direction are we going to go in next. And that's what you have power over right now. You can't fix the ring. The ring is already broken. You can't pick up the train and put it back on the track. It already derailed. But what you can do is decide what your next steps are. And you can find empowerment in that. And I want you to find empowerment in it, because in times like this, people can feel so small, so broken, so lost, so afraid, so fragile. And I want you to feel empowered by knowing that your destiny and the rest of your life is completely up to you. I don't want you to look forward and be sad forever and constantly mourning what if. Truly, I want you to think, I want to try to put this into some positive terms for you. I truly want you to think, what would the rest of your life have looked like if you stayed with this person? If you were already unhappy? You keep telling yourself, maybe it could have been different, maybe it could have been fixed. We both know that's not true. We both know that's wishful thinking. And so truly, objectively look at what would life had looked like if you had stayed with this person for the rest of your life. I don't think it would be as happy as you think it would be. I think in reality, it's just the safer option. I think in reality, it's the option that looks great from the outside. And something that I always think about, this is kind of an aside, but I feel like it kind of relates here, in a very small way. It's in no way the same thing, but I deal with eczema, which is like dry skin. It's kind of like a rash. Specifically, it's always bad on my neck, because when I get anxious, I scratch my neck. And I always would tell myself, like, I'd rather physically be in pain than physically look bad. And that's crazy, right? I'd rather deal with pain, burning pain, than look like I've got a bunch of dry skin. Because the pain of judgment, the pain of other people's opinions is so much worse. And that's how you're feeling right now. You would rather have endured 50 years of a marriage where you don't love the other person. Maybe the other person's cheating behind your back, or maybe they just don't love you, or maybe the two of you just are not compatible. And you have no relationship in the bedroom, you have no passion, there's no spontaneity. You'd rather deal with that than have people see you as a divorcee. Than have people judge you, or have people feel pity for you. And trust me, I understand it, because judgment sucks. But the truth is, the train has derailed. So you can sit there and pretend like everything is fine. You can sit there while the poison grows around you. Or you can pick yourself up and say, okay, I'm just going to face this head on, and it's going to suck. But I want to tell you, life can turn around. There is life after this. There will be relationships after this. There will be fun and excitement and adventure after this. Your life does not end because this relationship ends. You know why? Because you are not this relationship. And I feel like for so long you've put your entire identity, and not into just, this relationship and being a spouse, but you've put it into what you thought your future would look like. And the first thing that we need to do is accept that's not happening anymore. And I actually don't know, because I've never experienced it. But I want to tell you, I know, because it'll make you feel heard, that it's not going to be easy. But it's one of those things that's like the sun rises anyway. Time moves on anyway. And you just gotta do it. And when I look at the sunrise card and the tortoise card, as well as the sun card, because I've just been rambling on about 3 cards out of how many is this? 10 cards? 12 actually. No, yeah, 10. The sun card, the sunrise card, and the tortoise card. The sun talks about happiness and well-being. And I feel like this is all about putting yourself first. And I really want to try to show you the bright side of what being divorced might look like. Because we already know the negative sides. We already know the downsides. And I'm sure you know the downside because you see it every single morning when you look in the mirror. You see it every single day when somebody texts you about it, or when you talk to your friends about it. You know the downsides. But I want to show you the good sides, because there are so many cards here about the positive possibilities that come after this. Because not only did I say life goes on after, but love, passion, excitement, spontaneity also comes after. That does not die with this. In fact, I think all of that would have died with it. There was already no passion. There was already no happiness because it was broken. There was poison growing there. And so what I want to show you, when I look at the sun card, now that you're out of this, it's almost like the devil card, which I have covered up a bit here because there's nudity and YouTube doesn't like that. But underneath these 2 sticky notes, there's a man and a woman who are chained to the devil. When those chains break, that is my metaphor, my analogy or whatever for divorce, right? When the chain breaks, damn, the chain has broken. That sucks. But now you're free. You're no longer chained to the devil. You're no longer chained to pain. Now you're free to do whatever you want. You're free to put yourself first without thinking of somebody else. Now, take that with the nuances that there is. Sometimes we have to take care of other family members, or maybe you have kids, or etc., etc. But now you have one less person that you are chained to. You are a free person, free to pursue what you want. Maybe there was a job that you couldn't take because your partner wasn't able to move to this new area where the job was. Or maybe they didn't approve of what that job was. Now you can do whatever you want. The sky is the limit. Maybe they didn't approve of you partying and going out late and having a good time with friends because maybe they were a little insecure. Now you can do whatever you want. Now if you've dreamed of, I don't know, dating that coworker that you always fancied. I don't know why I said fancied. I'm not British. I've literally never said that like that before. Maybe you're British. I don't know. Now you can go date them. truly, the sky is the limit. I want you to start getting excited about what this new version of you looks like, because the new version of you is going to be so much more bright, so much more fulfilled, so much happier, because you will be free. You will no longer be chained down. You will not have anybody else to run decisions by except for yourself. Allow yourself to enjoy that. Allow yourself to feel that warmth on your skin as the sun rises. Now, the next card that we have is a sunrise card, which is pretty on point for exactly what I just said. This talks about new creative ideas, new ventures, a fresh start. Let me say that again. A fresh start. Don't think of this as a death. Think of it as a rebirth into a new, free version of you. The version of you that gets to start any path that you want. Yes, this old path that you were on, it may have stopped. Maybe you really liked the idea of the future that was going to be there. But now that it's stopped, I want to open your eyes up to, there are so many paths ahead of you now. There are limitless paths ahead of you now. Infinite paths, because they are all up to you. You don't have anybody to tell you which one to go to or which one to not. You don't have any other opinions of this one's right, this one's not. You know why? Because it's now your life and your life alone. I feel like, in some relationships, in most, honestly, in all the good relationships, you should still be allowed to be your own person. You should still be able to make whatever decisions that you want. But I feel like for some reason within this relationship that you were in, you felt very trapped. You felt like there was only certain directions that you can go in. And yes, you're sad over the divorce, you're sad over the breakup, but I want to open your eyes to the different possibilities ahead of you now. The limitless possibilities ahead of you. And with the tortoise card, we have slowly but surely getting ahead. You're not going to be jumping into, clubbing and having a good time right away. You're going to be mourning this relationship for a long time. This video is not going to suddenly change your mind. I mean, I wish it would. But there's going to be a while where you're still sad. You're still beating yourself up. You're still feeling gloomy. Maybe you're crying every day. That's okay. That's okay. I'm not telling you not to feel that way. Cry as much as you need to. Crying is a good thing. Crying relieves stress. It quite literally helps us get the stress hormone cortisol out of our body. So it's a good thing. Crying is a good thing. Allow yourself to cry. Allow your body to wring itself out until it is spent. But once you're out of there, slow but sure steps, you will be reaching your happiness. You'll be reaching new opportunities, new limits you thought that you could never reach. With the sweetness card, I feel like life has so many more experiences and opportunities for you. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're in your 60s or your 70s or your 80s. As long as you have breath in your lungs, as long as your heart is beating, you have not yet met everybody that will ever love you. You have not yet met everybody that will smile at you. You have not yet met everybody that you will talk to, and you have not yet had every experience that you will have in life. And so I want you to stop thinking, woe is me, now I'm an old spinster and there's no more excitement for me. There is so much opportunity that you cannot even see or fathom yet. Life has so many sweet experiences and surprises open to you, but you first need to free yourself. It's time to free yourself of this thing that was holding you down and realize that yes, things didn't happen the way that you wanted to. But honestly, I think that end is going to be one of the best things that ever happened to you, because I can see so clearly in your cards how much the future is holding for you, how many beautiful opportunities it is holding for you. And I know you can't see it right now because you've got a cloud over your head, but you know what's behind that cloud? The sun. The cloud doesn't go away. The sun doesn't go away because there's clouds. The sun is always there. The clouds can make us think it's dark. It can make us think that, it's going to be cloudy forever, but it's not. The sun comes out again. You will be happy again. You will be free again. So the last two cards that we have here are the Emperor reversed and the Ideation card. I was going to say something, but I actually don't really resonate with it. But when I look at the Emperor reversed, it makes me think of this spouse or partner that you had or have and are in the process of separating from. When I look at the Emperor reversed, I think of somebody who had a lot of control over you. Whether you realized it or not, they had a lot of control over your life, the decisions that were made, what you pursued, how spontaneous you were, how much you enjoyed life. And so what I was kind of going to say is, if you think a little bit on the negative side, it might make you feel a little bit better, but obviously to a certain extent. I don't want you to beat yourself up and only think about the negative, but I think something that has been making it hard for you to move on and heal is always having rose-tinted glasses on. And this is actually a really interesting thing that I'm going to bring up. I don't know how much this is going to resonate. It's kind of weird. I slept for like 11 hours last night because I got back from camping and we had been waking up super early and, lifting a bunch of stuff and hiking and stuff. But anyways, I slept really, really long and hard, and in my dream, my ex was in my dream, and we were super friendly and talking and stuff like that, and we had this realization that we were so incompatible, and we both kind of like laughed about it and joked about it, and then we moved on. And so the point of this is, I feel like you are so stuck in the what if, or stuck in thinking about the good times, that you haven't really fully let yourself realize just how bad of a match you two were. And I'm not saying that you should hate this person and hold a bunch of hate in your heart, because I think that will poison you. But I think something good that you can do for yourself is take off those rose-tinted glasses and realize, you know what? We actually weren't super compatible. You know what? I think it's actually for the best that we part ways. Like, truly just sit and think, was this actually a perfect person for me? No, they weren't. And sometimes we can say that to ourselves, we can accept it, but it doesn't quite sink in. But I think when it does sink in, it will be very freeing for you, because I think a part of you is still having trouble letting go of it wasn't the right relationship, or letting go of, thinking that this was the person for you. Sometimes the person that we marry isn't really the love of our life. Sometimes we marry them because everybody's like, oh, you're at that age, you should get married, or you two have been together long enough, you should get married, or XYZ thing, or you guys should move in, you've been together for this long, or you guys should have kids, you've been married for this long. It doesn't necessarily mean that this person is the person that we're meant to be with. And so I think when you can realize that, it will free you from a lot of the guilt of leaving, a lot of the guilt of freeing yourself, and a lot of the guilt of putting yourself first. And finally, with the ideation card, I want you to idealize your future. Idealize the excitement that you can have with new partners in the future. Idealize the new excitement for the experiences that you can have on your own. When's the last time that you were truly alone? Because some people, they really lose themselves when they're in a relationship. They get so caught up in the us that they forget about I. And I feel like for you, I really want to push, allow yourself to feel excited about the future of being on your own. Allow yourself to do everything that you weren't able to do in a relationship. Go travel around the world. Go climb Mount Everest. Go do whatever you want. But do it because you can and because you want to. And I want you to think about all the things that you weren't able to do before and look forward to them. I really, really, really want you to feel excited about this new chapter of your life, because life doesn't end when this divorce happens or when this breakup happens. And I know it doesn't feel like it, and maybe a part of you still really loves this person, but I really want you to fall in love with the new version of yourself too. So, pile 2, that is everything that I have for you. I truly wish you the best on this journey. I know this was a long-winded reading. I really hope that it resonated. I know there's going to be touchy things in here that some people just don't want to accept, or maybe you hear this and it pisses you off a little bit, and that's perfectly valid, because honestly, you're going through what you're going through, and that sucks. So feel however you want to feel about it. But I really hope that this brought you peace. I hope you can feel excited about the future, and I truly wish you the best on your journey. But that is everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. All right, pile 3. If you chose the Botswana agate, then this is your reading. And I want to say, I feel like your reading is going to be shorter than the others, but not because it's not important. I feel like the other readings had a lot of deep and heavy lessons in them that I just needed to really explain it and drive home, because you know how those topics are. But for yours, I feel like you have a very simple answer to what feels like to you a real big problem, or just a period of your life that is full of stress. Botswana agate, I took a picture. I'm literally forgetting it right now, but let me reread it. I always take pictures of the names of crystals when I go to crystal shops and buy them, because I want to remember what they are. And it says Botswana agate helps one deal with the stress of change and aids insomnia. And so when I see that specific part about insomnia, I feel like you are a worrywart, and I think you are somebody that you really stress out and worry when you're alone with your thoughts, specifically at night. So if you've been having trouble sleeping, I think, we're going to talk about a lot of different ways to deal with stress and stuff like that. I think the biggest thing that's going to help you get more rest is by dealing with the stress in your day-to-day life. And so let's go ahead and get into it. So the way that I wanted to start this off, first of all, actually, you have 3 different bird cards and you have the nest card. So I think birds could be a really important spirit animal for you. We specifically have an owl, a hummingbird, the bird perched card. It doesn't say specifically what kind of animal this is, though it kind of looks like a falcon. And then the nest card just has like eggs, which that's a lot. That's 4 out of 10 cards that have to do with birds. So those could be important spirit animals for you. But these 2 in the middle, the hummingbird and the owl and hop card, these have to do with, what energy will it be best for you to embody in this new chapter of your life? Because as you learn this lesson, whatever lesson the universe is trying to teach you right now, you'll shift from an old version of you to the new version of you that is trying to embody what you learned through this lesson that life is trying to teach you. And so the energy that it's best for you to embody. When I look at the hummingbird and the owl, specifically the hummingbird makes me think of somebody that instead of sitting and stewing and maybe doom scrolling on TikTok, or like when you're stressed about, for example, this is what I'm thinking of. Somebody that's maybe waiting to get accepted into a college. Instead of sitting by the computer day in, day out, waiting to get that reply back, waiting to get that letter, instead of sitting there and stewing, I think what would be better for that person is, okay, it's out of your control. It's quite literally out of your hands. You have no way to influence this decision. So instead of sitting and stewing, go outside, have some fun, learn how to live, get your mind off of it. And so when I look at the hummingbird, hummingbirds are constantly moving. They're not sitting and stewing. I'm not saying to distract yourself and take substances or do things to get your mind off things. But what I am saying is sitting and stewing isn't healthy either. Now, like I said, take this one a grain of salt. I'm not telling you to completely distract yourself from responsibilities. What I am saying is allow yourself to go out, have some fun, hang out with friends, do your hobbies, do the things that you care about, because right now, sitting and waiting for something to change, or waiting for the money to start rolling in, or waiting for the successful outcome, or waiting to hear back from a school, for instance, sitting and waiting isn't going to change things. In the meantime, allow yourself to have some fun. Allow yourself to de-stress, because stress is the biggest problem in your life right now. And I think the lesson that you're trying to overcome or trying to learn right now that the universe is teaching you is, how do we deal with this stress when we have no control? How do you deal with stress when you have no control over the outcome or how things are going to turn out? And so beneath the hummingbird card, we have the owl and hop card. Specifically looking at the owl, this card talks a lot about wisdom. I think, when people think of going out and partying and having fun with friends, you don't necessarily think about what can be learned from that. But I think that's because in society, most people think that you can only learn from books, or you can only learn in a classroom. But life, and the universe, God, whatever you believe in, it will teach you things through anything. It'll teach you by, for example, there was a guy that got lost in the Amazon rainforest. His plane crashed, and he learned what was safe to eat in the forest by watching what the monkeys ate. That's kind of a random example, but life will teach us what we need to know through other means outside of what we are used to. And so you might think that going out with friends is kind of useless, it's only to have a good time. I think there's a lot of wisdom that can be gained in this new period of your life, even though you're not being productive in this traditional sense, if that makes sense. That's what I'm trying to explain to you, is there is a lot of personal wisdom to be gained, not necessarily wisdom out of a book or wisdom that you'll use in a classroom setting or wisdom that you'll use in a career, but life wisdom, life lessons. There's a lot that can be gained simply by having a good time. Simply by learning to enjoy life and remembering that life is about a lot more than just what we're doing career-wise or what we're doing school-wise. Life is about what we love. Life is about the relationships that we have. Life is about what makes us happy. And there is so much wisdom that you will gain by allowing yourself to listen to your body and just have a good time. Getting out of your head, back into your body, doing things that you think are fun. That is going to be the best way to de-stress. I mean, don't get me wrong. Therapy, learning about stress, anxiety, and stuff like that from books and from experts, that's equally as important. But it's also important to remember that one of the best things for you is to just get out of your head. Have a good time. I mean, when I look at the hops in this card with the owl, hops are the plant, I'm not sure what it is, I think it's a grain, is the grain that makes beer. I'm not advocating that you go out and drink alcohol, but I am saying that makes me think about partying. When I think about beer, I think about partying. I think about, people having a good time together, playing games together. So, if maybe your friends, if they go out to bars, go out to hang out, I'm not necessarily saying that you need to go drink, but you can have a good time with them. Like, there's a bar that me and my friends went to. We didn't drink, but the place had, these big, huge, fluffy pretzels with like the best dipping sauces. And the reason we went to the bar that night is because they were doing a Mario Kart competition. And so it wasn't like a super packed bar that we were dancing at, but like we were eating these amazing pretzels and like watching people play Mario Kart. And some of my friends even ended up playing too. So all this to say, have a good time. Allow yourself to enjoy yourself. And like I said, I'm not advocating for drinking. If you enjoy doing that, I mean, do it. I'm not going to stop you. I'm not your mom. But, have a good time. Be safe. That's what I say. Now, when I look at the bread and the key card, as well as the bird perched in the nest card, when I look at the bread and the key specifically, these are very similar because the key talks about a successful outcome to your problems. Now, when I think of a key, I think of that kind of like light bulb moment where it finally unlocks. So I don't know if you're specifically looking for like an answer to come within you to a specific problem and that's what you're waiting on, or you're waiting to hear back from somebody, like I said, or waiting for a certain thing to become profitable, or maybe you have like a business plan that you sent in to investors or something and you're waiting to hear back from them. Whatever it is, that successful outcome, whatever you envision success to be, it's gonna come. So don't stress about it. Let that be up to the universe. Let that be up to divine timing. What you're in charge of right now is having a good time, is learning to de-stress while you're waiting for the successful outcome to come. It's the same thing with the bread card, period of prosperity and abundance. I want you to think of prosperity and abundance not as something that's super far away, but can be right now. Maybe your life isn't exactly where you want it to be. Maybe it's not the level of prosperity that you want it to be. But I want you to be grateful for what you have right now. Do you have a roof over your head? Do you have loving friends around you? Do you have things that you're enjoying right now? Do you have the ability to do your hobby? Do you have family that you can hang out with? I mean, you might not have some of that. And if not, I apologize if bringing that up was a sore subject. But what I'm trying to say is, even if life isn't exactly where you're trying to get, I mean, all we have right now is the present. All you ever have is the present. The future will come. The future might bring you what you are searching for, but at the moment, you're right here and right now. So can you be grateful? Can you be happy? Can you enjoy life in the present instead of having to say, okay, I'll enjoy life 5 years from now? Well, that sucks, because then you'll have 5 years of your life go by that you didn't really care for, and that's life. All we have is time. All we have is our life. All we have is the present. And so don't tell yourself it's like how some people are like, okay, I'll start living at retirement. Okay, when you're like 65 and most of your life has gone by? No, find a way to live right now. Even if you don't have all the money in the world, you don't have to have money to have fun. There are something I think is funny is if you ever look at kids, how you can buy them the most expensive toys in the world, but they might have more fun just playing with rocks. Like I went to go see my little baby cousins. They're like 2 and almost 1, so super duper little. But the 2-year-old, it was kind of close to his birthday, so he had all these new toys and stuff, and of course the house is full of toys that he could be playing with. You know what he was doing? He was collecting a bunch of pebbles and just dropping them one by one into a storm drain for like 30 minutes. Like that entertained him so much, playing with frickin' pebbles. And so I want you to look at your own life and see, do you really need that big house and that fancy car to have a good time? Do you need a ton of money to have a good time? You don't. I want you to look around and say, do I have friends? Do I have family? Do I have an able body that can go out and have fun? And even if you don't have some of those things, I want you to ask yourself, what do I have right now that I can enjoy, that I can love, that I can be grateful for? You don't need all the expensive toys in the world. Sometimes you just need pebbles. And I think kids specifically can be some of the greatest teachers without even ever realizing it. Because I feel like we have it all figured out when we're little, but we lose it as we grow up. We gain awareness and we start to feel insecure. We start to cover ourselves up. We start to feel like, oh, I can't do XYZ because people will think it's weird. Kids don't worry about all that. They just do what they love. And when they don't like something, they get up and they walk away. Embody that energy. Now, when we have the bird perched card and the nest card, the bird perched card talks about waiting for news, package, or letter. Now, this is what I was talking about. It makes me think about you waiting for school acceptance or waiting for successful outcome to something. What I think you need to hear right now is it will take as long as it takes. Let's say it'll take 2 months, right? In those 2 months, if you knew it was only going to take 2 months, would you sit and wait the entire 2 months, stressing and worrying about, what is the outcome going to be? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Or would you take those 2 months and say, all right, I have no control over it, so let's go party. Let's go have a good time. Let's go travel. Let's go camping. Let's go have a bonfire. Safely, of course. Let's go have a good time. I think the latter option is way better because either way, it's going to take as long as it takes. In the meantime, don't forget to live. Don't forget that you are in the present right now. You are alive right now. So live right now. And with the nest card, it talks about an emotionally secure, loving family is important to you. I think something that is going to help you get out of your head is being around other people. Now, like I said, don't just have everything be a distraction. I think distractions can certainly be helpful for, if you're stressed out, but don't just rely on stuffing your head in the sand. Of course, take everything with the nuance that comes with it. I think something that's really going to help you, though, is being around people that you love, being around people that make you happy. It talks about family, but it can also be friends. It can also be, maybe you're not the best friends in the world with certain people, but you love their company, so allow yourself to hang out with them. I think the entire point of your reading here is enjoy life right now. Have a good time. Get out of your head, because I think you are living in your head. It's time to get out of your head. Get back into your body. I personally have been, over the past few weeks, trying to unlearn a lot of workaholic habits, and something that's always helped me in the past is really going into my head, introspecting and figuring things out and working through them. But instead, if you're a workaholic, the best thing to do is take time off. And so I went camping with my friends. And the entire time that I was there, I was completely out of my head. There were a few moments here and there where I had some quiet time to myself and I was like, okay, let's introspect a bit, because I like to introspect. But I found that introspecting itself actually took me out of the moment and made me feel a little bit less like I was in my body, a little bit less like I was happy. It didn't make me unhappy, but I realized that just simply being there, being in the moment, getting out of my head was way better than trying to figure everything out by introspecting, if that makes sense. So I think if I could pass that knowledge on to you and say, just get out of your head, have a good time with the people that you love, do the things that you love. And also, down here with the tarot cards and the oracle cards, you have the Four of Pentacles cards and the Rest card. Now, when I look at the Four of Pentacles, this is you. You see this guy holding on so tight to these pentacles. He's holding them with both arms, holding them with both feet. He's even holding on to them with his head, holding on so tight. You know how sore his muscles probably are? You know how tense he probably is? That's you. You might not realize it, but you are holding so much in. And even if you're not physically holding it, it's probably manifesting in your physical self. Maybe you go to sleep with your muscles all tight and you wake up and your shoulder hurts or your neck hurts and you can't understand why your back is hurting so much. It's because we hold a lot of stress in our body. And so I think a good thing that could help you, meditating doesn't work for everybody, and I don't think meditation is the end-all be-all. Tai Chi might be something that works for you. I do it occasionally. I love it. Or it could be yoga, stretching, or it could be swimming, running, anything that gets your body moving, gets you loosening up. I think stretching especially is a great way to loosen up your muscles, and that's something that would help you a lot. Especially if you're pretty ADHD, meditation isn't always the best, but if you can put in some earbuds, listen to a podcast, allow yourself to run, maybe go swimming, whatever exercise you love. It doesn't necessarily need to be exercise like to work out, but doing it just to move your body is going to be really helpful for letting go of stress. And it's probably going to help you sleep a lot better at night. For example, when I went camping, because it was quite literally like yesterday that we got back, which is why I keep bringing it up, but we went camping on Catalina Island, and the only way to get all of our stuff up to the campsite, which was up this long hill, was to bring it, like carry it all off the boat onto the beach and then carry it from the beach all the way up the hill. And so that was hard work. We were sweating. It was hot outside. If we wanted to use a real bathroom, we had to like walk all the way to town. So it was a pain in the butt. It was worth it though. But all this to say, when I did all that, I went to bed and slept so good. Like I slept like a rock, like better than I sleep at home. And I truly accredit it to, working my muscles. Now I'm not saying to break your back by picking up heavy things and hiking necessarily, but that kind of movement and getting your body flowing. I feel like a lot of us, our lives are so sedentary, so stuck in place. We get so stagnant and the energy inside of us gets just as stagnant and stale. So moving around is going to be great for you, and it's truly, I think it's really going to benefit your rest. Like I said, if you're an insomniac, integrating some form of physical movement or exercise, I bet you would help a lot with that insomnia. Now up next, we have the Three of Cups and the Abundance card. And this is just a reiteration of everything I've said, so I'll keep it short. But the Three of Cups, you're literally looking at three girls who look like they're dancing and cheersing their cups. The lesson the universe is trying to teach you, like I said, getting out of your head, back into your body, having a good time, enjoying life, having fun. Your lesson is to learn how to have fun. And we might think it seems self-explanatory, but when you're like a workaholic or somebody that's really busy all the time or stressed all the time, it's difficult to allow yourself to have fun. You feel like you're not allowed to have fun. You're not allowed to play video games or read that book or watch that TV show or go out with friends because it's not productive. Okay, we're human beings, not human doings. We're not meant to be productive 24/7. In fact, something that would make you more productive is being a healthier, happier human who's actually getting some damn sleep. So allow yourself to go out, allow yourself to have fun, allow yourself to go, I don't know, like it looks like these three girls are drinking and partying. Like I said, not saying you should go drinking necessarily, but go out, have some fun, let loose. Literally, let loose. Your muscles are probably so tight. And finally, with the Abundance card, I feel like this is just another reminder. Abundance is coming to you. You will be taken care of. You will be successful. So don't stress about it. Remember to live right now. Don't say, okay, I'll live after I get accepted into this school, or after I get the job, or after XYZ. No, you're in the present right now. So live right now, please. For myself, for you, for your peace of mind, for my peace of mind, live in the present. Learn to live, even if life isn't exactly the way that you wish it would be, like in a perfect world. Nothing's ever perfect, but all we have is the present. So live in it. So, pile 3, that is everything that I have for you. I really hope that you enjoyed this reading. I hope that you can apply these lessons to real life. I hope that, well, not real life, because it's real life right now, but you know what I'm saying. I truly wish you the best on your journey. I want you to know you will be successful. You will be taken care of. So take care of yourself right now. The universe is taking care of things for you, so take care of yourself right now. But that is everything that I have. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.